Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Grand Rapids Public Museum's 12th annual Jay and Betty Van Andel Legacy Awards Gala. I'm Juliette Dragus, the weeknight anchor of 13 on Your Side. We are so happy to have all of you here with us. I was at the grand opening of this beautiful facility back in 1994, and we are so fortunate to have a museum like this for area families. Tonight would not be possible without support and involvement from the community, so thank you to event chairs Dave and Carol Van Andel, Jim and Sue Williams, the Jay and Betty Van Andel Legacy Awards Gala Committee, and the Grand Rapids Public Museum's Board of Trustees. Thank you to this year's Legacy Awards Gala sponsors. The full list is on your screen. Dave and Carol Van Andel Family Foundation, 13 on Your Side, the Steve and Amy Van Andel Foundation, Eileen DeVries Family Foundation, Chase Creative, Peter C. and Emma Jean Cook Foundation, Jander Noah Foundation, Jim and Barb Haveman, JC and Tammy Heisinger, M Live Media Group, Marlon Fayen and Ruth Postumus, Outfront Media, Williams Kitchen and Bath, WGVU Public Media, and Varnum. If you participated in our dinner tonight, the takeout service, we hope that you are enjoying your meal. We would like to recognize the local caterers who generously donated tonight's dinner. Amway Grand Plaza Hotel, Nothing Bundt Cakes, Alliance Beverage Distributing, Founders Brewing Company, Pepsi Grand Rapids, Parent Brewing. Tonight, we will honor leaders who have inspired others by their investments in the West Michigan community. Your support of the Legacy Awards Gala continues to sustain the inspiring stories of leadership and the vision that Jay and Betty Van Andel had for the Public Museum to be a vital cornerstone of the Grand Rapids community. As we get started with tonight's main event, the Grand Rapids Public Museum's largest annual fundraiser, remember that you can support the museum through a financial donation by texting the number on the screen or by bidding on an auction item. The link is in the comments. Now let's hear from the Grand Rapids Public Museum's Board of Trustees Chair and co-chair of tonight's event, Jim Williams.
Thank you, Juliette. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our 12th annual Jay and Betty Van Andel Legacy Awards Gala. And welcome to our first ever virtual gala. We hope you enjoy it. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed our lives and given us at the museum new ways of doing things. Previously, the Grand Rapids Public Museum hosted over 300,000 visitors to our facilities annually. Now we have virtual experiences like summer camp, our digital collections, and our virtual education programs. These, along with our in-person experiences, is how we continue to serve the community in new ways. Despite all of this, I think Jay and Betty Van Andel would be proud of the way the museum and their terrific staff has adapted and continues to educate and work to spark curiosity in all generations, young and old. No matter how differently we have to do things, there are still incredible things to be done. The leaders we are recognizing tonight are part of the foundation of the organization. They're an awesome group. Their vision, creativity, and dedication to give back continues to support our West Michigan community. Did I mention they're an awesome group? They're fantastic. Thanks for being with us today. I am personally very pleased to be here and to kick off tonight's event. So let's get started with the first award.
Good evening. I'm Dale Robertson, President and CEO of the Grand Rapids Public Museum. This is my 12th year introducing the Casey Award winner, and it has been my honor and privilege to recognize the amazing recipients of this award. This year is no different. The Casey Award recipients exemplify the traits of one of the museum's most dynamic volunteers and community philanthropists, Casey Wondergem. He believed in action, involvement, and courage in the furthering of a cause that benefits the community. The 2020 Casey Award winners are Robert Borman, Craig Bradley, Josh Freeney, and Ward Mikulski, or the Fab Four as we like to call them here. They are the brain trust of Yeti CGI. Yeti is a creative play studio and digital toy maker focused on pushing the boundaries of technology to entertain and promote learning. These guys are dreamers for whom nothing is impossible. When you spend time with Robert, Craig, Josh, and Ward, their collective energy and enthusiasm and creativity is infectious. One of their biggest dreams is creating ambient user experiences that seamlessly blend digital and physical environments, taking advantage of the best of both worlds. For museum guests, this means enjoying exhibits throughout the museum and all of the benefits of a digital experience with a platform that can adapt to create incredible personal interactions unique to each guest. Ambient user experiences are about connecting the world. Yeti's impressive client base includes Google, Microsoft, National Geographic, Disney, Steelcase, Fisher-Price, Mattel, and the Grand Rapids Public Museum, plus more. In 2018, the Grand Rapids Public Museum and Yeti CGI partnered on a grant application to the Legacy Foundation to develop an AR platform accompanying games. The museum and Yeti have been working for the past year to create and test a sturgeon game. The game allows players to explore the museum and the banks of the Grand River. They also hatch a baby sturgeon, feed it, watch it grow, and ultimately release it into the Grand River. This is only the first experience, as the platform can be extended with other history, science, and cultural content within the walls of the museum and outside in our community. One of the core values of Yeti CGI is mentorship. From the very beginning, Yeti has offered paid mentorships, giving students real-world experiences, working on real projects with their client base. The computer programming and project support skills they develop during their time with CGI will pay future dividends when they graduate and enter the workforce. Yeti is part of the diverse economic engine that makes West Michigan strong. They see themselves as the behind-the-scenes company that leverage the building blocks of interactive storytelling to improve connections with the audience. Please join me in recognizing Robert Borman, Craig Bradley, Josh Freeney, and Ward Mikowski of Yeti CGI.
The Grand Rapids Public Museum is, being a museum, excellent at ambient user experience. They use all 5 senses to create this entire story around kind of like the visitor. So one of the things we get to do with the museum is leverage their expertise, kind of creating museum quality, and using technology as just another instrument in the orchestra.
Yeti's connection with the Grand Rapids Public Museum comes from a couple different directions, really. There's the community, there's the friends and family, the fact that many of us have grown up around the museum, we bring our kids to the museum, so we have this personal connection here. There's also this kind of unique opportunity that we found on a professional level with the technology that we bring from Yeti CGI, realizing that museums really are a hub of technology throughout history. Having the opportunity to partner with the museum to be a little bit of a lightning rod to jolt technology back into the community is another way that we see that this partnership is beneficial to the community.
So for the museum, we've partnered with the Legacy Foundation, and we were glad to work on some experiences that go throughout the museum where students could explore the museum, learn by seeing and experiencing information they would otherwise have to just read about or watch a video of, but by making them able to explore the museum and learn in what we would describe as an ambient user experience where they're using many devices to accomplish the same learning objective. Students are able to have much better learning retention, enjoy the process a whole lot more, and feel like they're playing an active role rather than a passive role.
We had to replicate basically the museum outside of the museum, and it ended up being that also helped us identify new technologies that we could bring to the table in the next 2-3 years. We believe that having an open, platform for kids to learn on and to create failure as a success is a very key point to why we're doing this, is so that kids are able to grow our future.
So my hope is that when people start to play with technology here at the museum on these exhibits, that they start realizing there's a lot more that could be done and that this stuff is all accessible to them.
We're honored to receive the Casey Award because it is a testament to the volunteerism that we've had the amazing opportunity to participate in.
We're definitely not alone, and there's lots of local companies that have assisted us, in addition to the Legacy Foundation, who really understood the vision and how this could make kind of this type of experiential learning more accessible, and then obviously the partners with inside the museum as well, and lots of local brands like Carnivale and other companies that have assisted us along the way.
This has been a tremendous opportunity for us at Yeti CGI, but I think it's also one of those things that benefits the community as a whole.
The museum is a nexus point for all sorts of individuals from all walks of life to have access to the rich history that comes from this area, and that's something everyone should be able to participate in.
Thank you so much. Wasn't the first award so inspiring? And now to present the Dave and Carol Van Andel Leadership Award, please welcome Board of Trustees Vice Chair and Co-Chair of tonight's event, Carol Van Andel.
Good evening. I am standing in front of the museum's Fashion and Accessories collection at the Community Archives and Research Center, also known as CARC, located on Washington Street next to the former location of the Grand Rapids Public Museum. CARC houses the vast majority of the Grand Rapids Public Museum's collections. Approximately 95% of more than 250,000 artifacts and specimens that Grand Rapids Public Museum stewards are housed in secure, climate-controlled archives. This year's winner of the Dave and Carol Van Andel Leadership Award, George Byard, is a long-standing member of the Grand Rapids Public Museum's Collections Committee. CARC and the collections housed here are very important to George, so what better place to share his story? The Dave and Carol Van Andel Leadership Award is presented to an individual who demonstrates a commitment to the greater West Michigan region by supporting philanthropic organizations and contributing to the cultural, educational, and economic health of our community. George is the founder and executive director of the Grand Rapids African American Museum and Archives, which the Public Museum has proudly supported and collaborated with. GRAMA is the only Grand Rapids museum devoted to Black history, culture, education, and community. George made Grand Rapids his home after moving from Philadelphia in 1988, and his impact on the community was immediate. Years before, George cared for his ailing grandmother. While running her house, he discovered tons of things, he says, including photos, furniture, and clothing, all related to African American history. He said, "That kind of got my whistle wet as far as collecting things." George found himself inspired by the cultural history contained in the thousands of objects he discovered in his grandmother's home. This inspiration led to the opening of the George Byard Art Consulting practice that later evolved into the Byard Gallery of Fine African American Art and Books, which was devoted to artists of color for more than 30 years. In 2015, George created his vision of a museum that shared the rich historical stories and contributions from a West Michigan perspective into a reality with the opening of the Grand Rapids African American Museum and Archives on Monroe Center. George has transformed our cultural landscape through his perseverance, belief, and mission. He has educated our community by expanding our knowledge, appreciation, and understanding of important African American celebrations, such as Kwanzaa and Juneteenth, and by showcasing important historical exhibits, such as the Underground Rail Roadshow. If that isn't enough, he also finds time to serve on numerous boards and has supported the Grand Rapids Public Museum as a perennial member of the Grand Rapids Public Museum Collections Committee and Ethnic Heritage Festival. George has been a partner with the museum by loaning numerous artifacts to the museum, most recently for the Changing America exhibit. George's leadership, talents, and contributions as an artist, appraiser, collector, historian, writer, and advocate have contributed to the culture and educational betterment of our community. Please welcome our 2020 Leadership Award recipient, George Byard.
My name is George Byard III, and I am the Executive Director of the Grand Rapids African American Museum and Archives, which we call GRAMA. We are the only African American museum in this county and one of only 2 or 3 here in West Michigan. It started here at the museum. During that period of time, there was a little art show and they asked for vendors. And this was the very first time we sold art in Grand Rapids. So we sold enough artwork that I said, yeah, this could be a good business here. When we first made that leap into becoming a professional museum, the city of Grand Rapids had a vacant space at 87 Monroe Center, which is where we are now, and asked us if we wanted to put some artwork in. And we were just blown away by the amount of people that came through and all the positive responses we got. I'd say we have about 8,000 pieces. You know, a lot of paperwork. Someone donated almost 1,000 books to us. Showing artifacts and artwork was really a small part of what we wanted to do. We wanted to be the hub of African American history, culture, and learning here in Grand Rapids, which we have become. 1925, 4th of July, the Ku Klux Klan marched in Grand Rapids. We think we've done a great job of showing and explaining and actually creating dialogue for the community. This is part of our Art of Protest exhibit. We thought that we'd be teaching mainly African American folks, but we've got a wide range of races and genders and religions coming into our museum all the time. And we found that being able to spread the word of these underrepresented people that come from our community is what we do best. On behalf of the Grand Rapids African American Museum and Archives, our board, directors, and supporters, we want to thank the Public Museum for bestowing the Dave and Carol Van Andel Legacy Award on us this year. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carol, and congratulations, George. So very uplifting and inspiring to all of us. Here now to present our final award of the evening, Event Co-Chair, Dave Van Andel.
Good evening, everyone. I also am joining you tonight from CARC, in front of the Grand Rapids Press Collection, part of the Grand Rapids Public Museum's archives. In 2012, MLive, formerly the Grand Rapids Press, donated its entire archive to the Grand Rapids Public Museum. The Grand Rapids Press published newspapers for 122 years, every day from 1890 to 2012. This collection is so large that it required 4 semi-trucks to deliver it. The press collection includes clippings from files and photography and negative files, as well as microfilm. Since the acquisition, it has become the most requested item in the museum's collections, with hundreds of researchers from all over the country referencing it every year. Now, the enormity and impact of this collection would not have been possible without the stewardship and support of this year's Lifetime Achievement Award recipients, Dan and Luann Guido. Each year, the Legacy Awards Gala honors outstanding leaders who have inspired others by their personal and professional investments in Grand Rapids and West Michigan, past, present, and future. My parents believed in dedication, service to the community, and a devotion to supporting philanthropic causes. Tonight's Jay and Betty Van Andel Lifetime Achievement recipients, Dan and Luann Guido, exemplify those ideals. Now, as a friend stated, when Dan and Luann became involved in a cause or a project, they are all in. And I want to share with you Dan and Luann's amazing legacy of professional and philanthropic achievements. Longtime residents of the Grand Rapids area, Dan and Luann are deeply involved in the community. Together, they have served on numerous boards and committees that include Spectrum Health, Helen DeVos Children's Hospital, Make-A-Wish, Arthritis Foundation, Hope Network, the Muscular Dystrophy Association, the Grand Rapids Symphony, and Pine Rest. One of the hallmarks of our community has always been leaders stepping forward, especially in the philanthropic area. By their example, they demonstrate the importance of taking on leadership positions in a community that has been enriched by their verve and enthusiasm. Dan and Luann are also active leaders, giving of their time and resources, not just their names, to all sorts of causes. It's our hope that this award will not only help draw attention to what Dan and Luann have done, but that it will inspire others to honor their legacy by stepping up to assume important roles that advance our community at large. I have had the privilege of knowing Dan and by extension Luann for quite some time. Now, truth be told, we all like Dan because of Luann. But it has always been as a couple that they have quietly supported so many organizations within our community. While any one of us, myself included, may have had our differences relating to an article written over the years, I have never once doubted the sincerity of both of them in wanting to improve our community to be the best that it can be. Dan was a leader in the Michigan news media for over 40 years. He's the past president of MLive Media Group, Michigan's largest multimedia news and marketing solutions company, which produces mlive.com on the web as well as several regional newspapers. He now serves as a senior advisor to MLive Media Group and is the former publisher of the Flint Journal and the Grand Rapids Press. Dan has also been an instrumental player in the growth and mission of the museum. In 2006, when the museum and the city finalized their agreement for the foundation to operate the museum, Dan joined GRPM Friends Foundation as the chair of the board and also served as the first president of the museum subsidiary. During Dan's tenure on the board, the endowment grew from $6.5 million in 2006 to over $38.5 million in 2015. Dan and Luann have been married for 47 years and are the proud parents to 3 children and grandparents to 7. It is my distinct pleasure to honor Dan and Luann Guido as this year's Lifetime Achievement recipients.
Well, I've been involved with the museum through my children and now my grandchildren. So we've been a part of this for a long time.
I started the fundraising campaign for the museum. It was when the city had taken away its funding. It was a very difficult time period, and I felt like I gave a lot of effort trying to raise money so we could keep the museum going. Spent a lot of time during those years just figuring out ways to keep the museum very meaningful to the community.
The whale has always been here. That's what the kids want to see when they first get here. And it's very interesting to bring them here and watch the different things that light up their eyes. And especially our granddaughters love the doll exhibit over here. Some of my own daughters now who are in their 40s look at those and go, I had that doll. Everyone experiences something a little bit different because of what their background was.
One of the things we have to acknowledge about the museum, and it's one of the things that we've always appreciated about it, it is a very diverse place. It's a place where everyone is welcome. And the great thing is that there's a story to tell, even the ones we're not necessarily proud of, and we learn from these stories. We're very proud to be a part of this museum, and we're very proud of all the things that people have done throughout the last 40 years. I'd say thank you to all those people that have supported us and made our job so much easier. The contributions of everyone are important to make things as good as they are. The award is just a piece of the puzzle of what we're supposed to do to build that complete picture together.
So thank you very much for this award. It is an honor to get it.
Thank you and congratulations. Isn't it fantastic to hear about these wonderful leaders who are right here in our community? We have another special speaker tonight, Jim Haveman.
Hello, I'm Jim Haveman. I'm a member of the board here at the Grand Rapids Public Museum. We'd like to welcome you to the virtual gala participation portion of tonight's event. This place holds so many special memories for me, my family, and so many others in this community. When I was 10 years old, my family took me to the museum on Jefferson. I was in awe of displays of like Finny the whale, the birds, the animals, and the Native American artifacts, and the display of the development of babies in the womb. The womb display, however, took me a while to fully understand, for my family was not fully forthcoming on the facts of life. My grandchildren, when they come to this wonderful museum, express the same wonderment of the past, present, and the future. Walking through the streets of old Grand Rapids and the displays continue to pique their curiosity. It's that strong desire to learn more and thus fully understand the wonders, complexity, and beauty of our world. You know exactly what I mean. We love the selections of the traveling exhibits. Our Grand Rapids Public Museum is a gem in our city, and we need to protect and continually to invest in its growth. My family isn't the only one with stories to tell about their experience with the museum. It's my pleasure to introduce Kara Borman, a nursing student from Aquinas and Detroit Mercy, whose childhood visits to the museum, combined with your support of world-class exhibitions, helped guide her future.
My name is Kara Borsma. This is the Bodies Revealed exhibit. I'm a nursing student, so when I see body parts or cadavers of any kind, I get really super excited. I mean, when I first came to the Grand Rapids Public Museum, all I really cared about was the dolls exhibit. But as I got older, more things started to spark my interest, and it helps me kind of grow into the person I am today. And it also helps me find something that I truly love and I want to go into myself. The Bodies Revealed exhibit physically showed me what could actually go wrong and things like that. And that helps me see, like, nursing is definitely the place I want to go. What's going through my head is the nursing process now that I'm looking back on it, even though in 2010, I wasn't really thinking about that. Physically seeing everything, it just brings everything into perspective. It's like going to a clinical and actually physically doing something that we're learning in class. And it was just amazing feeling just like, wow, this is something I want to work with. It was just so inspiring and definitely made me want to go into nursing. I would tell myself 10 years ago that this is going to change your life.
Thank you, Kara, for sharing your story. We might not always know the difference we are making in the lives of those who engage with the Grand Rapids Public Museum. But as Kara shows us, we are making an impact one visitor at a time. Join me in making a difference in the lives of people like Kara. Your gift to the Grand Rapids Public Museum supports the museum's exhibits, educational programs, virtual learning opportunities, and cares for the collection of over 250,000 artifacts. I want to share one very important piece of information. Together, we have an opportunity, thanks to the generosity of the Eileen DeVries Family Foundation, Jim and Sue Williams, along with myself and my wife Barb. All donations will be matched up to $20,000. For some, I hope you will consider a gift of $1,000 to join our Curiosity Club tonight. $1,000 can provide 10 virtual trips for classes this year. Or maybe you'll make your first gift to the museum tonight of $100, covering one class, which, don't forget, now becomes $200 with our match. Whatever the size, it is needed, meaningful, and appreciated. You can make a donation online, text to give, the link is in the chat box, or you can mail a donation or call the museum. Our goal is to raise $40,000 in donations this evening. Thank you for your consideration and helping to make the first Grand Rapids Public Museum Virtual Gala a success. Now, as we wrap up tonight's event, we have an exclusive sneak peek into the new exhibit, Sean Kenny's Wild Connections, made with Lego bricks, opening this Saturday. Check your email inbox for access to this video and more. Thank you.
Thank you to, and thank you to the Eileen DeVries Family Foundation, Jim and Sue Williams, and Jim and Barb Haveman for matching donations tonight up to $20,000. Echoing his words, the Grand Rapids Public Museum is a very special place and is very important to our community. Let's continue the legacy of Jay and Betty Van Andel with a contribution tonight. As you heard tonight, the museum continues to do a wonderful job bringing rich history, science, and cultural content to our community. Congratulations to Yeti CGI, George Byard, and Dan and Luann Guido. Remember, in addition to your gift, you can also support the museum through the auction by clicking the link in the comments. There are some great items and events, including shipwreck tours, luxurious overnight accommodations, spa packages, and more. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing you at the Grand Rapids Public Museum soon. Have a great evening.